Hey guys, what's going on? It is Dan Lags, and welcome back to part number 5 of the HGTV Dream Home 2017 Let's Build. And guys, today is going to be our landscaping episode. Going to be spending the majority of this episode working on some of the yard work of the house, getting some trees put in, getting some shrubbery and some flowers and things like that added to the build, just so it like richens it up a little bit, add some greenery to the place, and just overall just helping the goal of getting this thing looking pretty similar to what it looks like in real life. So a couple of updates before we start. On the interior, first I've actually switched out the front door. It used to be acacia, but now it is dark oak. On the interior, didn't do really anything, except I just filled in all of the floors in here, except for the garage, since that's going to be lower. There are some really bad lighting defects right now on console Minecraft. I don't know what's going on. So sorry if it looks really if there's like just a bunch of like spots of light and darkness and it just looks really funky in here. I don't know what's going on with there's some really bad bugs right now when it comes to lighting. So it's like it's really dark over here for no reason, and right in the middle of the room where there's like no light, it's very bright in here. I don't know what's going on right now. It's really weird. Over here is like super dark. Don't understand that at all, but I filled in all the floors, and I also finished up the roofing. I decided to just do the roofing off camera. It wouldn't be a Dan Lags Let's Build without a little bit of off camera work. So that's the meme. That's the the constant meme. But yeah, over here I just filled in this roof. I just followed the pattern with the slabs. It really wasn't that bad at all, and I did that one over there. I just decided to do it off camera just because I just didn't feel like doing any more roofing on video, so I did that. And then I also just filled in the rest of the outer walls. I didn't really add too much detail to them. I'll add more detail to these walls later on, once we actually, once I get to that, which will probably be next episode. But let's go ahead and get started here with some of the building. Let's do some landscape today. Before we start building, I just wanted to quickly revisit the front of the house, the front yard, just to see what we're working with today, since we're going to be doing front yard landscape. Tall tree right here. Probably do a custom tree for that. Got a lot of tropical trees, palm trees, as well as in the middle of the driveway. We're going to work on that today as well. And we're also going to add a hedge back here along the side of the house. Probably some of these flowers and things like that. Just miscellaneous things just to detail the front of the house here, since it's very green, very full of life, and I think it looks great. So let's start to add this stuff in Minecraft. First thing I'm going to start off with is just some blocks. I'm going to grab some acacia and some spruce leaves, and I'm gonna make a hedge kind of around this build. So every single one of these builds, there's a division with the property, right? This one is my personal favorite. It's just a wooden wall. Actually, this side is just kind of like a hedge with a tree line. This side over here, we have just like a wooden wall. I really like this a lot. I thought this very much framed the property. If we just fly up in the air a little bit real quick, take an aerial view. Well, where am I? Okay, this side. It just frames the property really nicely. We have a little picket fence on this one. How are we going to do the framing of the property on this year's build? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a hedge, and I think this could be pretty cool. I'm going to start it from probably right around here, and what I want to do is just start creating a line for it, and then I'll come in and add some detail to it. So let's go ahead and work on this. I'm going to go like just really randomly place some leaves, just kind of slowly curving around the build. And keep in mind that I'm going to also use the spruce on this as well. I'm going to kind of mix those in. I want to have multiple colored leaves to this, but my goal is to kind of get this thing looped around the build if I can towards the backyard, just so everything kind of connects nicely. And we'll get it to about right there. I think that's pretty good. I can widen it if I need to. I got to make some changes over here a little bit. Mix this up just a tad, just so that's a little bit better. There we go. So ultimately, I want to make this thing I want to make it 2 blocks thick, by the way. I'm definitely going to do that. Probably going to make it 3 blocks tall for now. Might make it 4 in the future. But let's just start off by getting this filled in. I'm going to grab some swiftness real quick, just to, speed up the process a little bit, obviously. But let me just get this filled in here. I'm going to do the hedge on both sides. Again, my goal for this episode is to get this hedge put in. I want to try to add some flowers to these flower beds, get all this soil filled in and stuff like that, and try to add some trees in the front yard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the backyard in terms of trees and stuff. If not, then, we can do it next time. Next episode, by the way, is going to be part 6. And my goal for that episode, just not looking too far ahead, but I'll talk about it while I'm filling this in. I plan on working on the pool area, the backyard, to get all that stuff figured out. And then, just pretty much everything backyard, back wall, backyard. This is going to be the theme of next episode, part 6. And my goal is to have this wrapped up by about 8 episodes. Because after that, once we have the landscape and the backyard put in, we'll have the exterior pretty much finished. And then we can focus on some interior for a couple of episodes. We'll do probably 1 episode of interior and then maybe like a final episode just to kind of wrap things up. But there's our 3-block tall hedge going all the way through. And what I'm going to do is actually just double stack this real quick. And once I have the double stack put in and everything like that, I am going to mix in some spruce. So the way I want to do this, I'll just kind of show you guys real quick. I'm just going to, make it so it's not all one color leaf. It's going to be a mix of multiple different colors that it's going to create some nice look to it. More like multiple different textures more than colors, because it's both green pretty much. One's a little bit more of a foresty green. So yeah, that already looks very, very detailed and nice. So we'll do that throughout the whole build. Probably do a little jump cut for that, since that's going to take a little bit of time, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to get this filled in, run it all the way around and connect it across, get the hedge double stacked. I'll do the hedge on the front side here, just get this filled in, and then I'm just going to do a quick cut of the video. I'll get the randomizer put in as the spruce blocks, and I'm also going to do the hedge on the other side as well, off camera real quick. Since you see me do one hedge, you don't need to see me do the other one, right? So that'll work out, and then we can start adding some trees after that, which is going to be really nice. So as a matter of fact, let me just start cut right now, since you guys get the idea. I'm just filling this in. So let's go ahead and build these hedges, detail them, and then I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, so I finished the first hedge, got the whole thing detailed and double stacked, and then I was coming over here to build the second one. Then I realized maybe I don't even need it, because we already have the picket fence over here. Maybe I'll add it later on, but I just don't think I need it right now for this side. I just don't really know if it's going to be necessary now. Maybe it will be, but I think I'm just going to not add it for right now. So let's just move on to some other things. I'm actually going to start to place some of these trees here in the front, so let's do that. On the real life HGTV dream home, these are kind of palm trees, tropical trees. So I'm going to try to rebuild those if I can. I am totally lost in the inventory right now. Here we go. So I'm going to grab some acacia leaves and some oak. And I'm probably just going to try to build some of these trees here. Make them like, decently tall. Taller than the actual build, ideally. Alright, so let's see. In fact, we made some of these trees last year. Let's take a look at these. This is kind of like what I want to build. I don't know if I like the jungle wood, though. I'm not a fan of that. I think I'm just going to go with oak. But this is just kind of what I want to build here. Pretty similar to this. In fact, something like this, actually, maybe a little bit shorter. Maybe like that one is probably what I'm looking to go for here. But very interesting the way I did these last year. I really like them still. I think they definitely hold up a year later. This build was underrated last year. I do like it. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back over here. So yeah, I want to do something like that, except I'm actually going to, make them out of oak instead. I think that's just going to be a little bit better. So we'll do that instead. And let's see, making sure that that's good. All right, so that's going to be the height of our first tree. And what I'm going to do is just do a quick little wrap around here. Maybe do a double stack on this actually to make it 2 blocks tall. And then let's just start to add some acacia leaves to this. In fact, did I use acacia on those last year? I want to say I did. Yep, I did. All right, so that's good. So I'm just going to start adding these trees in. Try to make them tropical if I can. Just, at least look tropical. A little tough. But I think I can do something with it. I'm going to try to wrap this around each side. Place some blocks there. That looks about right. And the key to these, I think, is just to kind of do some splashes of leaves, kind of. So you want to have little splashes coming out. And the way the trees are on this actual build, they're a little bit, I don't know how to really explain what I'm thinking. But they're going to be a little tricky to build. So I might just try to build my own thing, or really what looks good in Minecraft. I think that's really a key for this, the HGTV series. Is to build, instead of trying to, create something that's an exact replica, just try to build something that, would look good in Minecraft. So, something like that. That looks pretty good, I think. So, I'm gonna do something like that. I'm also gonna grab some. Ooh, hold on. Definitely not oak. oak fences. I don't think that'll look very good, but I was thinking about just putting some oak fences around the edges here as kind of like little dangling branches or something. Actually, that does look pretty good. All right, just a small detail. So something like that is our first tree. Second tree, gonna be right here. And let me actually take this trunk up a little bit taller. Try to make this one actually shorter overall than the first one. So just so that, you know, there's not a conflict of branches, I guess. So maybe like right here is going to be about as high as I'm going to go with this one. So we'll adjust the height accordingly. So we'll probably lower this a few blocks. I think something like that will do the trick. Maybe lower this actually 1 block on each level. There we go. And let's start to add some leaves to this. So I started off with these. My method for this is just to start off with a little symmetry. And then once I kind of have that built, then I just start to kind of, you know, spam after that, pretty much. Okay, so let's get that in place. We're going to place stuff down here. Make it nice and bushy. All right. There we go. And let's add that. All right, now we can start to add a little bit of leaf spammage. But yeah, these trees look pretty good so far. I don't know how many I'm going to build today. I mean, I might honestly just like cut here in a second and build some more. I don't like doing repetition on camera. And this is definitely falls into that category. Just kind of, you know, building the same thing. And you guys have seen me do trees like this before. All right. So that's pretty good for that second tree. I like that one because it's a little bit bushier than the first one. So that like kind of works a little bit better. I don't want them to be all exactly the same. That's pretty good. All right, and then the last one here is going to be shorter. And I'm going to have this one actually maybe even a little bit chunkier. Even like the branch or the trunk be a little bit chunkier. Or chunkier. Chunky trunk. That is a tongue twister for sure. All right, so maybe something like that. Might even have some of the, you know, what are these called again? The roots. Oh my gosh, I was just completely forgot what these were called for a second. Have some of these roots running around the bottom here. I think that'll look good. And then I'm gonna take this up maybe a few more blocks. And now let's start the leaf spammage. This one I might actually make like really random right from the get-go, just like no symmetry at all. I think it could look pretty good like this. But try to make all 3 of these trees have, you know, separate characteristics if I can. First 2, I think I nailed it. Okay. But custom trees are always a very important balance in Minecraft. I honestly believe that custom trees like change builds. Like I think you can take a regular house, but if you add custom trees to it, it just makes it like elite. I really do. All right. So this one's super random and weird. That's fine though. Okay. Go with that. We'll go with the you know, bad hair day look. All right. Not bad. I'm also going to throw in some of these. And we'll do, I don't really like the connection. We'll do it. Okay. So there we go. We have ourselves our first little bed of trees here on the front of the build. Now just picture this, and there's just going to be more of these. Just like, I'm going to add regular trees, well, like stuff like that. I'm just going to kind of put those around the edges. It's going to be very foresty almost. From this angle right here, this is kind of like the main shot that's on the website. From this angle right here, the house is very much covered in trees. You know, like almost the entire garage is like covered in trees. So we're going to add more over here. We're going to add more over there. It's just going to be a very nature-based property, which is going to be cool. All right, so another thing I want to do is let me grab some stained, let's see, brown and black hardened clay. Let's grab some of that. Why is it sometimes it's called stained clay in some texture packs, sometimes it's called hardened clay. I don't know. I just don't understand anymore. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in some of these blocks here just so the soil isn't all the same color. And I honestly don't like the brightness of these blocks. I think they should be darker. I think coarse dirt should be in a darker texture in this pack, personally. You know, that's what I would have done. I would have made it a little bit darker, but that's fine. All right, so just to mix in some color like that. I actually prefer the darker color a little bit more. All right, so let's add some just random stuff to this. Double grass, orchids, just peonies, you know, whatever I can get my hands on here. All right. And just, you know, start to just add some stuff to this. So I'll probably add some alliums around a little bit first. Then I'll come in and add maybe 2 peonies. I think is honestly fine. Let's get some orchids as well. We'll put maybe 2 of those as well. And actually, we don't really have that many spots left. I can't place them on the roots or anything in the middle here. So I'm like, where else do I have spots to place? In fact, I think I have every block I can place covered. Oh, nope, not right here. Spoke too soon. Now I think I do. All right, so there we go. Actually, you know what? Let's add another dirt block here in the middle. That way we have just like a little bit more grass. Okay. So there we go. There's our little center flower bed and trees. I like it. I like it, guys. I like it a lot. All right. So the next thing I want to do is start to plant some tall trees around this area. So I'm going to get that started right now, and then we'll go from there. So let's see. We're going to do some grass blocks. Let's see. We're going to grab some. I got to do this the old-fashioned way. All right. There we go. We got our magic 5 right here. So I'm gonna place a tree. I'm just gonna get like the spots for these trees placed, and then we'll go from there. So I'm gonna do these probably 4 blocks off the ground, and let's see what other spots I want to place these. So right around here, I want to place a tree, but I want this one to be a custom tree. So I might just leave that as a stumper now, but I might build this one custom. That way, it's like really large above the build. I think that will probably look the best, but most of these trees I'm just gonna do standard. So let me just pick a few more spots here. I'm just gonna pick them, and then we'll start to grow these. All right, guys, I got all the spots put in. Now I'm just placing down the saplings, putting the glass above it. Now this is where the grind really starts. Fun fact: I actually let these grow on their own on Survival Island Season 4, and it actually worked. It took a long time, you know, time I don't have. I have to do it by hand here, but I actually just kind of, when I was playing survival and I didn't really have the bone meal to waste, I just kind of waited for them to grow, and they sprouted on their own into very tall trees, which was awesome. So maybe I could just wait, but I'm actually going to try to get this by hand here. The problem is, you know, most of these, it's very unfortunate because when you get one that you don't like, you have to break it, and you have to wait for the leaves to decay, or you can just break all the leaves. I don't have a modded controller on Xbox One, so I can't just wait for them. I can't, you know, rapid fire break them like I would back on 360 when we were building LD. But what I'll do is if I get a bad one, I'll just break the wood and then let it start to decay on its own and then go on to the next. So let me save first, actually. That would probably help this process. Just in case I get like a massive one or something like that I need to like leave the game for. All right, here we go. Always lucky. There we go. There we go. First one looking good. Always good when you get a good one right off the bat. All right, let's see if we can get a nice little chain here. This one is moderate. It's moderate. I don't know if I'm not a fan. I'm just not. I'm not settling. Never settle, everybody. Never settle. When you're doing this on Xbox, you're trying to plant tall trees. If you're looking to, you know, if you're done with custom trees and you want to plant some trees around, just kind of filler spots, never settle. Just go for it. Just keep on breaking them until you get some nice big old trees here. This one is actually, it's like mid-level. I'm gonna keep it for now. I might ultimately break it though. Let's take a look at this one, see what we get. Always lucky. How about a nice big old beast? Come on, we got this. Ooh, it's about the same as that one. I was like really hopeful that was gonna be a little bit bigger than it was. All right, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I think we'll keep both of those actually. They're good enough. It's gonna be really rolling the dice trying to break those and expect something better. Alright, so this one right here, we're going to have to wait for that decay. Let me come back over here, update on this one. I wish these leaves would decay faster. Like, sheesh, man. Like, can we up the decay rate a little bit? Like, my goodness. That should be a thing. There should be, like, a decay rate scale, like, in the options. Like, you go to options. Whoops. I'm just coming up with all kinds of ideas. There should be, like, settings, and you can, like, set the decay rate to, like, fast or slow. Like, oh, man, I'm the idea guy. I'm telling you what. Nah, but that would be a pretty decent idea. Well, you guys gotta let me know what you think about that. I honestly think I'm onto something here. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and see if we can get lucky here. The tree grind, everybody, the tree grind. Oh no, another Humpty Dumpty. Not what I'm looking for. That's all right though. That one's not too big, so it won't take that long to get rid of these leaves. I'll place that one back. Status updated this one over here. Still not decayed. I don't know how much longer I can take this before it's just gonna drive me through the wall. That's all right. I'll plant 2 more, and if they're both tiny trees, then I'll just do the rest off camera, because, you know, it'll probably just save everybody's time. Alright, so let's go ahead and get lucky here. Come on, game. You know you want to give me a nice tall tree for the front of the property. And this thing is just... Okay. Okay. Alright. I give up. Alright, everybody. In the meantime, while we're waiting for these trees to decay, while I'm just getting absolutely owned by these trees, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually continue the picket fence. I think I'm going to do that. I like this picket fence. I know it's not on the real life build, but I just like it, and I think it kind of fits the theme because it's on both sides of the road, and it kind of fits through the whole neighborhood. So maybe it's not even like a residential picket fence. It's kind of like a neighborhood fence, and I like it a lot. So I'm going to keep on continuing this theme just for the front yard, though. It'll go up to the hedge on the other side and then stop there. So let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just jump 5 blocks in place. Jump 5 blocks in place. I got to kind of get the timing of this right. So let me get these put in. I'll just do the front picket fence here. And it'll also help me frame this property a little bit better because I think I'm having a little bit of an issue here with this front yard. The front yard of the HGTV Dream Home this year is a pretty big front yard. It's pretty expansive. So I didn't quite have the space for it for this little plot that I chose. In retrospect, I probably should have chose a little bit of a bigger plot here to build this. It would have been actually ideal just to build it on super flat, just because I can't tell you how much it grinds my gears, everybody, to TNT terraform now. Oh my gosh, it is some kind of tedious grind, let me just say. Got to get the music pumping for that one. Like, boy, oh boy, is that boring. Okay, so let's do to right there. That's fine. Got an extra 3 more fence pillars here. Take this across. We'll quickly do the other side of the driveway. I'm going to get the coarse dirt filled in below this tree right in front of me here. Get that put in, and then I'm going to try one last chance on those last 2 derpy trees. See if I can get those things actually working the way I want them. And then we're going to call it a day. So that'll go to right there, right in front of this tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is literally just one picket fence on this side. Nothing to it, or a quartz fence, or whatever you want to call it. I just broke the, could you imagine if you did this in real life? It's just the tree, just the bottom of it just snapped and the whole thing came tumbling down. Minecraft is a realistic game. Alright, anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of these last few leaves here. Just speed up the decay process. Alright, I'm grabbing it. Oh my gosh, maybe I'm not. Okay, I'm grabbing the oak sapling. Gotta get my bone meal out again. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Big tree. Come on. The suspense is killing me, guys. This is just riveting gameplay. Oh. Alright, you know, it's not bad. It's really not great. I'm not going to replace the grass block yet. Because, you know, once you replace the grass block, then you know that that's going to be the final tree. But, alright, this one over here is our last chance for this episode. Make us proud. Let's end this with a bang. Come on. Man, this is the struggle. Okay, here we go. Let's end this with a bang. Big old tree here. Maybe if I go a little bit higher up, like my person can block the growth and make it taller or something. I don't know if that's actually going to actually happen, but here we go. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm inside of the tree. And it's really just that one fooled me. I thought that one was going to be good. And it's actually garbage. Man, that is just unfortunate. I am starting to get a little bit triggered here, but I'll fix the rest of the trees off camera, but let's go ahead and finish off the episode here. I'm going to grab some coarse dirt, and I am going to just fill in pretty much this. I have an outline here, so I'm just going to get this filled in, and then we'll call it a day. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Don't fall in the ravine. All right, everybody, I got the coarse dirt filled in here on the front yard, and that's going to wrap it up for today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm probably going to finish the rest of the front yard landscaping off camera and we'll do all backyard next episode for part 6. So again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like rating. I'd really appreciate that. HGTV Dream Home 2017 Let's Build. It's been so fun so far. We've made some great progress through 5 episodes. It's looking awesome. So hopefully you guys, again, hopefully you did enjoy it. And if you did, thank you so much. And I will see you guys on the next episode. It's been Dangeles, guys. Peace out.